I've been playing RoboQuest for what seems like forever now, and it's gone through many different changes and updates throughout its development cycle. But now it's finally released out of early access into its 1.0 state, and it's with great pleasure that I can say that this game has remained a blast to play all these years, and it's even better now. Everything has been balanced, fine-tuned, and upgraded into a solid, finished product that the developers can be proud of, and the community can be proud of as well. So let's take a few minutes to take a look at this incredible game that's going to stay in my regular game rotation for many years to come. And don't worry, I won't spoil anything major about the game. Like I said in the beginning, RoboQuest has taken on many different forms in the past to get where it is today. But I'm not here to talk about what it was, I'm here to talk about what it is. RoboQuest is an intense, fast-paced action roguelike FPS that adopts all the traditional aspects of a roguelike, so it's incorporating a wide variety of weapons, an assortment of different classes, each with their own unique playstyle, randomly generated levels with secrets, different biomes and alternating paths, player upgrades and perks, boss fights, and all of this is playable as solo or with a friend. The premise of RoboQuest is very simple, and that actually becomes one of its strongest attributes, which we'll touch on again soon. Before you begin a run, you'll be able to wander the main hub where you can choose the difficulty, invite a friend, and of course select your class. I'm not going to go over all the classes because I want you guys to experience them yourselves, but they each have their own playstyle and abilities which tie into their own set of upgrades and perks too. After selecting your class, you can begin your run, and once you select your random weapon from this chest, it's through the door and away you go. You also come across these chests every so often as you progress through the levels and find loot rooms. At the moment there are a few different biomes which I won't spoil here, and each one of them will conclude with a boss fight up until you reach the final boss. After successfully completing the run, you'll go back to the starting area where you can spend wrenches, which are dropped at random by enemies and can be acquired by completing quests and finding secrets too. And these wrenches are then used to purchase upgrades that will aid you on future runs and make your character stronger. Sounds simple? That's because it is, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh.
One of the things I look for in a game is how well it allows the player to express themselves and essentially play it however they want. That's why I think Ultra Kill is so successful, because that game is probably the definition of a sandbox shooter. It doesn't tell you how to play the game or, passively force you into playing a certain way. It hands you this big box of assorted Legos and says, here, go nuts, do what you want, it'll probably work. The player gets total creative freedom, and it lets you mechanically express yourself in a near infinite amount of ways. RoboQuest is very similar in that regard, granted not as mechanically deep or advanced, but the game doesn't lock you into anything. All of the weapons are a ton of fun to use, and it's incredibly fun building different playstyles to find the one that works for you. For example, I've been having tons of fun playing as the Guardian and running weapons and perks tailored around crit damage. Or sometimes if I don't feel like aiming, I'll pick the Commando and build my weapons around being as explosive as possible and rely on splash damage. You can sit back and snipe if you want, create a glass cannon build, stealth build, and if you like playing aggressive, you can run around with shotguns and close range weapons. Another weapon combo I've been really enjoying lately is a flare gun, which marks the enemies and causes them to take increased damage from you and your teammate, and I pair that with some missile launcher of some sort. Sometimes I'll even take that flare gun to essentially buff my teammates' damage, despite needing a better gun myself, because I enjoy playing a certain type of support character, I guess. My point being is that RoboQuest offers a lot of player freedom and player expression, and that can come in many different forms. RoboQuest is a game that is extremely easy to pick up, and its accessible nature is an area where this game shines. You can just boot up the game, choose a difficulty, and away you go. I don't have to stress about picking the strongest classes or meta sweeping with the powerful weapons every run in order to actually have fun. I don't have to stress about needing to quick switch my weapons all the time. I don't need to worry about power creeping too much or lagging behind my friend because loot is shared. I feel like the devs have done a great job at how well this game is paced. A lot of roguelikes tend to be unbalanced in the sense that your RNG can be so horrendous to the point where you never feel strong enough, or it can go in the complete opposite direction and make you OP right from the start. RoboQuest is challenging, but it's also fair. In my total time playing, I don't think I ever died to some bullshit mechanic or terrible RNG. Besides the acid pits, they can get fucked. Sure, I might have some rounds where I'm getting fucked over by weapons and perks, but that's just part of the roguelike experience. For the most part, the weapons and classes feel balanced with only some very minor tweaks needed. The enemies are also something I think deserve a lot of praise. Normally I'm not a fan of shooting robots or things that don't bleed. I like to see things explode when I shoot them. But RoboQuest has managed to make each kill fun and satisfying by making sure these enemies are unique and challenging to fight against. The AI seem decently smart, even sometimes outright pre-firing the shit out of me or managing to sneak their way behind me somehow. Some are fast, some are small, some self-destruct, some fly. There are tanky ones, stealthy ones, these fucking assholes. RoboQuest has a lot of enemy variety and they're all very fun to fight, which is also a segue into how smooth this game feels to play, and I'm going to loop back around to say that simplicity is key here. The movement is simple yet satisfying. Your base movement consists of jumping and sliding, which can be comboed together to perform this sort of pseudo B-hop. The levels are also scattered with these rails you can grind on, jump pads, and any explosive weapon you have can be used to do a rocket jump. Not to mention that you can jump on enemies' heads just like Mario. Sometimes less is more, and RoboQuest seems to understand the fine-tuned balancing required between its mechanics and gameplay loop in order to create a fun, accessible, and replayable experience. In RoboQuest, you have to keep moving at all times, otherwise you'll get shredded by the enemies, and with how smooth, responsive, and simple the movement is, most people will have absolutely no problem chaining together their slides, jumps, and grinds to stay as nimble as possible. I want you to think of any video game soundtrack that is released in the past 5 years and tell me how good it is. You done? Okay, well, what have you chosen? RoboQuest beats. As soon as I launched the game and that main menu music started playing, I literally sat there for like 5 minutes just jamming to the music. It's got this synthy Mick Gordon-esque feel to it, and every track slaps from start to finish. The music does a brilliant job of applying tone and complementing RoboQuest's fast-paced nature by slapping you in the face with hard riffs and beats when you open a door to a new biome, and then keeping that energy for as long as the action lasts, all the way to the end of the game. I've been playing RoboQuest with my brother for a couple years now, and both of us have had nothing but a blast each time we come back and revisit the game after an update or something. The gameplay loop is incredibly fun, challenging, and it's even better with a friend, but doing the occasional solo run is fun too. There's plenty of replayability when it comes to finding all the secrets, collecting all the wrenches and upgrades, as well as a few other things which I won't spoil. I can't recommend RoboQuest enough, so grab a friend, grab a revolver, and have some fun. See you on the next one.